I never thought my heart could shift from racing with love to racing with fury all in one night. It began as a surprise. I had returned from a business trip 2 days earlier than planned. I wanted to sweep Claire off her feet, take her to the Ember Lounge, our first date spot, and remind her why I had asked her to marry me. That engagement ring on her finger wasn't just gold. It was a promise, a future I had envisioned with her. But that night, as I pushed open the lounge's heavy oak door, I realized that promises are meaningless if they're worn merely as decoration. The room was dim, bathed in amber light that glinted off the polished bottles lining the shelves. Music pulsed faintly beneath the soft murmur of conversations. I saw her instantly. Claire, except she wasn't alone. A man was sitting far too close to her, his hand casually resting on the back of her chair, their heads nearly touching as they laughed over cocktails. She twirled her hair, smiling the same way she once smiled at me during those dizzying early days of love. I froze behind a pillar, my breath caught somewhere between lungs and throat. Surely I was mistaken. Perhaps he was just a friend. Maybe. Then she leaned in, brushing his hand with hers, whispering something that made him grin like a wolf. That was the moment the bitter cocktail of betrayal and humiliation struck me, burning, sour, unforgettable. I approached slowly, deliberately, as though my body belonged to someone else. Claire, I said evenly, my voice steadier than I felt. Her eyes widened with panic. Then she plastered on a feigned surprise. James, you're home early. The man turned to me lazily, sizing me up like an inconvenient guest. Who's this? He asked, as if I were the stranger. This, I said, lifting my left hand where my ring should have been, is her fiancé. Color drained from her face. James, it's not what it looks like. I let out a hollow laugh, a sound that wasn't mine. The man shifted uncomfortably. Look, I didn't know she was. Don't, I interrupted, eyes locked on hers. This isn't about you. I slid my hand into my pocket, touching the cold metal of the ring I had once placed on her finger with trembling hands and tears in my eyes. I held it up to catch the dim bar light and then set it gently on the table between them. You can give that back to whoever you truly love, I murmured and walked out. The night air hit me, cold, sharp, but somehow cleaner than the air inside. My phone buzzed incessantly. Claire calling, texting, begging. James, wait. Please, let me explain. It's not what you think. Come home, please. But I didn't go home that night. I drove aimlessly until I found myself at the old pier, staring at black water lapping against wooden posts. My hands clenched the wheel until my knuckles ached. Memories of our first date, our plans under starry skies, her whispering, I can't wait to spend my life with you, during my proposal, they all flooded back. Had it all been a lie, or had I simply not been enough? The next day I returned home. She was on the couch, hair disheveled, eyes red from crying. James, she said, rushing toward me, I made a mistake. It wasn't serious. It just happened. We were drinking. He's a coworker. I raised a hand. Stop. Tears filled her eyes. Please, just hear me out. It meant nothing. You've been so busy, so distant lately. I wanted to feel wanted. Her words landed like a punch. So now it was my fault. I've been working for us, I said, my voice cracking. For our future. And you repay me how? Practicing infidelity over cocktails. It wasn't like that, she whispered. It was exactly like that, I said. Days passed. A week turned over a carousel of her flowers, texts, promises of therapy, midnight confessions swearing her love for me. But love without respect is a slow poison. I started digging, fueled by anger and self-preservation. What I found destroyed me more than that night at the bar. Months of secret texts, inside jokes, late-night drinks, a hotel receipt from when I was in Chicago, they all confirmed the betrayal. Every revelation was another thread snapping, unraveling the life I thought we shared. The confrontation was cold, not loud. One evening, in the kitchen where we once planned our wedding menu, I said, Claire, I know everything now, not just the bar. Her face crumpled. James, please. No, I interrupted. Don't please me. You had choices. Not once, not twice, but many times. And every time you chose him, Or at least not me. She sobbed into her hands. I was scared. I thought maybe we were too perfect, that I'd lose myself. I wanted to feel alive. I stared. You wanted to feel alive? You just destroyed everything. 2 days later, I moved out. The ring, a cold witness to our implosion, was already at the jeweler for resale. Friends called me cold, some urging forgiveness, others revenge. But I didn't want revenge. I wanted dignity. Weeks passed. I rebuilt myself, independent of her. Nights were hardest, when silence stretched too long, when I reached for a phone that no longer buzzed with her messages. Then one evening, I returned to the Ember Lounge, alone, stronger. The bartender gave a cautious nod. There she was, Claire, sitting at the bar, staring at the door as though hoping I'd come. Her lover was gone. Her smile was gone. She stood. James, I didn't think you'd come. I didn't come for you, I said softly. I came to make peace with myself. Not as lovers, not as enemies, just as two people who broke something fragile and couldn't fix it. I'm sorry, she whispered, tears catching the low light. I thought he made me feel special, but all he did was make me lose the one person who truly loved me. I didn't answer immediately. My heart hurt, but the wound no longer bled. A scar was forming. I loved you, I said finally, but I can't love who you chose to be. I left the bar that night with a strange calm. No revenge, no reconciliation, just moving on. Sometimes the strongest response to betrayal isn't screaming, or breaking, or begging. It's walking away quietly, keeping your self-respect intact. Months later, I heard she had been ghosted by the man she'd pursued. She was alone, trying to repair the damage. As for me, I traveled, rediscovered parts of myself I had ignored, met new people, laughed without guilt, and learned that healing isn't erasing the past. It's refusing to let it poison the future. And the ring? I never bought another like it. Next time, when I propose, it won't just be gold and diamonds. It will be with eyes wide open. Because love is a choice, and so is betrayal.